Hey there, survivors. My name's Loaflord and welcome to a Dead Matter video. We have about a month until closed alpha, and I've gone through every dev blog and every dev vlog to gather as much information as possible to tell you guys what I'm excited for and what to expect from the closed alpha. This video is a bit long but very informative, so I will be leaving timestamps in a pinned comment below if you just want to check out the things that sound interesting to you. But without further ado, let's get into the 20 exciting features coming in Dead Matter. First up is the location. As you may or may not already know, Dead Matter takes place in Alberta, Canada. This is super exciting for me because I haven't played a survival game that has been taking place in North America. There's going to be an insane amount of locations that give off such immersion to the player. I mean, you have trailer parks, mountain resorts, suburban towns, and housing, and I'm sure there's more that we haven't even seen yet. I mean, I can't wait to go to Cube Crasher's video and try to rent a movie. And looking at all of the houses and shelter in Dead Matter really gives off a sense of realism to me that I haven't seen before. What's even more awesome is that they're taking blueprints from actual stores and mapping that in buildings, restaurants, and stores in Dead Matter. Every store will have an employee room, a bathroom, and all of the little details to give the game a more immersive and believable world. Character customization. Now I know that a lot of games have character customization, but the survival games that I play don't really have that option. Sure, you can change a head here and there, but you can't change your hair color or physique. It's gonna be great not shooting my own clones, you know what I mean? There are also skills that your character can equip, but we'll talk a little bit about that later. Another simple yet huge deal to the game is the weather system. With the way that the devs have made the skybox and dynamic lighting and global illumination, ambient occlusion, and dynamic weather, it's going to bring a whole new level of immersion to the game. They've implemented a cheap global illumination to help simulate the way light bounces. Not only does it make the world look great, but it also makes the inside of buildings look way more realistic. There's also a dynamic lighting where depending on where the moon is set, it will give different shades of darkness. Full moons will be bright, but most nights will not. The dynamic weather is also what I'm excited for. Not only will there be sunny days and rainy days, but there will also be snowy days. They even showed how snow is going to actually work in the game. This is still a work in progress, so you can expect it to improve by alpha and by full release. Now this may seem dumb because most survival games have it, but I'm really excited for VoIP. Dead Matter is going to be doing this a little differently. They're going to be simulating the location you're at, so if you're indoors, your voice will sound completely different than if you were in a big open warehouse where there's a lot of reverb. The effect will change in real time.
Alright, so tell me a bit more about your mine. Like, what can you do in it? I haven't seen this, so...
Next up, we got the looting and inventory systems. And ooh-wee! Do I love looking at inventory screens? No, I really do. I love killing someone and then taking a couple minutes to take their loot. But seriously guys, the looting system is looking great. We have some DayZ and PUBG type of vibes with our boy in the middle of the screen. Then we get some Escape from Tarkov vibes with slots actually being simulated in the inventory. We then have our equipment on the left side where you can drag certain items to those slots to wear them. And also note guys, there are 5 weapon slots. 2 for primary, 2 for secondary, and 1 for your knife. Another cool feature is that you can take items and put them inside of items. And what do I mean by that exactly? I mean that if let's say you have a cooking pot, right? You can actually store items in there that would fit in there. So you could put maybe some cereal, maybe some chocolate, maybe a handgun if it fits. We then have some more Tarkov vibes with the tool belt. This behaves like a gamma container. Once you find these certain items in game, they won't be lost upon death, unless you're playing on a hardcore server. But here you can store all the keys and key cards you find. You can put your map, your GPS, binoculars, radios, lighters, and cash there as well. This is great because it sucks when you're looting for an hour or two and die and feeling like all of that was for nothing. The interaction systems. This is going to be the thing that separates this game from other survival games, the way you interact with the world. Your garage is dark? We'll plug in some lights into the power outlet. You don't want your enemies knowing you're home? Turn off the lights and cover up those windows. There are curtains that you can move to block outside vision. You can shoot out lights. You can shoot cars' tires out and open doors for cover. There are even levers that affect pump systems in the mine. You can even add a carriage to your truck when you're going on the road. There are elevators that can be used as long as it has power. You can open up your car doors while you're driving and shoot from the inside of your car. You can open up little cabinets within houses to search for other goods. There are keys and key cards that get you into high-tier loot locations, but at a risk. As you can see, the alarm goes off in the police
Oh
station that
my
draws
fucking
zombies
God.
towards you. If someone is in a store, you can pull the fire alarm to get zombies to go to that location and attack them. What is even more awesome is that the devs have been taking optimizations and networking in mind while building these mechanics. There's ladders you can use to get to out of reach places, as well as pick lock locks and even hotwire cars. It's super crazy, but I can't wait to see what other interactive systems are going to be implemented down the line. Next, we got procedural bunkers. This is going to create a new dynamic for the way we loot. There may not be a best way to loot so-and-so bunker, because on every server you go on, the underground bunkers will be completely different because they are seed-based. This is going to keep the game fresh when trying to find loot, instead of going to the same bunker on every server because it spawns the best loot. It's going to be a little different. Kills being tracked on legendary weapons. This is something I've never seen in a video game before, and this actually excites me and gives weapons an actual visual of why the gun is so legendary. It's legendary because this gun has killed 15 people. I didn't kill 15 people, but this gun has a total of 15 kills. That's right, even if you die with that gun or you give it to someone, the body count will continue. It would be kind of cool if you can scratch out all the existing kills so you can track only the kills that you got. Quarantine zones. So correct me if I'm wrong, but these quarantine zones are going to be dynamic, where certain locations will become a quarantine zone over time, and they require certain gear to get into and to survive, but it also rewards you with special necessities and loot. Also, visually, it looks amazing. Carrying down players or players in a ragdoll state. Now this caught me by surprise, let me just tell you that. If you have a down teammate or there's a zombie on the ground and you just want to pick them up, you can do just that. You can carry a homie to safety, or you can show your bros what you just killed. But what's even more cool is the fact that you can manually put yourself in this ragdoll state, which amazes me because this opens up different playstyles. Like, let's say you're running towards a house to loot, right? And there's a two-man just watching you. They tried sniping you and they missed, but you made yourself look like you got killed by putting yourself in that ragdoll state. And then they walk up to your body and boom, you just killed 2 players by playing dead. Or let's say you broke your legs from taking a big fall and there's a horde of zombies coming your way. Your buddy can then pick you up and take you to safety. And if he has a sidearm, he can use that to fight off the zombies while taking you to safety. But keep in mind that you can't reload while carrying your teammates, so plan accordingly. Medical system. In the most recent dev blog, they revealed the overhauled medical system that shows details on how your character is feeling. It shows if you have burnt arms, gashed head, embedded bullets, embedded shrapnel, etc. This also affects your stats. I'm not exactly sure how, but I can imagine the more damage you take and how well you take care of your character will determine if your stats get decreased or increased. Like if you're running around with a sprained ankle, it'll affect you more so over time. It's also been stated that if you don't have enough blood in your system, you can die, obviously. But you can also get more blood for yourself. But it's just not that easy. You need to make sure you have the same blood type as the blood bag that you're trying to infuse yourself with. And to do this, they have a blood testing kit. They've also implemented a bunch of medical items like the EpiPen, morphine injector, and stated previously, blood bags. There's also a heap of conditions that have been implemented, such as sprained ankles, leg fractures, infections, food poisoning, pain, broken ribs, hypothermia, hyperthermia, poisoning, embedded bullets, embedded shrapnel, bleeding, anaphylaxis, burnt arms and legs, and I'm sure there's gonna be more. And if I'm missing any, guys, please let me know in the comments below. Lore being spread out through the map. Now they're taking a similar approach to The Forest when it comes to lore. In Dead Matter, you'll sprawl throughout the map finding little clues and things that led to the events before the outbreak. They showed an example of walking up to a mailbox and taking out a newspaper and reading. Here's another piece of lore that they shared via Twitter. Not only will this give players something to do, but also gives life to the world itself, like you're actually in a zombie apocalypse. Housing fortification. So this is probably an unpopular opinion, but I don't really care that base building is not in this game. Not saying I don't like it, because I do enjoy having my own base and raiding other bases and shit, but it kind of detracts the immersion, for me at least. But in Dead Matter, you can only reinforce existing houses. And by doing this, you can put up newspapers or curtains to stop outside visibility, and I'm sure you can board up your windows so no one can be able to break in. You can find a house in a little trailer park, or you can find a home in the heart of the city, but you're gonna be able to make that base your home. Zombie AI and idle animations. So the zombie animations can look a little weird, but they are a work in progress. But that doesn't change the fact of how excited I am for the AI. Gunslinger has been working hard on making sure that zombies are as high of a threat as possible. These aren't going to be your regular zombies that will stop running at you if you're on a car. They will climb on the car and go through every measure to eat you alive. Trying to run inside a building to hide? Guess again. The zombies will climb through the windows and break through the door and chase you down. A horde will not chase you in a straight line. They are smarter than that, and will try to surround you so you don't have a place to go. They're also making sure that zombies feel alive and a part of the world with the idle animations. They said they took some inspiration from Left 4 Dead, and boy, I can tell. It looks so good! Guns. Now this I don't even really have to talk about that much. I mean, just look at the damn guns. They're all so gorgeous. I mean, we have legendary weapons, basic civilian weapons, and military grade weapons. And on top of all that, all the animations are procedural. So you can reload, you can check your magazine, all while aiming down sight. The animations also look absolutely fantastic, and I can't wait to get my hands on the gunplay. Right after that, we got melee weapons. Finally, we have animations that look hard punching and fucking gorgeous. What's even better is the way that they are handling the weapon animations. They said they took inspiration from Left 4 Dead 2's melee system, where it tracks a certain amount of points where the object hits. And I love the way that Left 4 Dead 2's melee was, so I'm excited to see something similar in Dead Matter. SATA. Strength, endurance, dexterity, and agility. Strength is basically your physical attributes, like how much weight you can carry, maximum hit points, and how much damage you can do with a melee weapon. Endurance is responsible for the amount of limb health you have and resistance to poisons and infections. Dexterity is tied into how fast you do things with your hands, like picking up items, how fast you reload and such. Agility shows how fast you can do things with your body, like lifting your gun after sprinting, how long you can run for, and how fast you can actually run. I'm not too sure how this is going to be implemented. Like, are we going to get a skill point system like in Scum? Or will SATA be determined by the occupation we choose? And can we level up those skills at all? I'm not too sure, but I know that will be in the alpha. 3D inventory for the vehicles. When the newest devlog dropped, I was absolutely mind blown by this. It's so simple, yet so damn effective. I mean, look how awesome the truck looks, loaded with all the items that you actually place. I've never seen anything like this in a video game before, and it makes me excited to see how they can implement this to other parts of the world, like maybe a fridge or a desk or something. That just add another layer of immersion, and the more immersion, the better. Occupations and perk systems. So this is going to bring diversity to the game. Not everyone will be the same. When creating a character, you can choose from a list of occupations that will give you certain perks and abilities, as well as negative perks to balance things out. There are 4 different types of occupations: passive, labor, combat, and medical. Let's start with the passive occupations. The first one we have is the unemployed occupation. With this, you'll be able to get 6 perk points to choose from, and we'll talk about the perk system in a little bit. The next one is the student occupation, which will grant you 0 perk points, but you will level up your skills 15% faster and run 10% faster. Moving on to the labor roles, we have the carpenter. And with this role, your reinforcements will be 15% stronger and you'll be able to construct small buildings. I don't know what small buildings mean because I thought there's no base building, but maybe it's like a storage stack or something like that. But as a result of picking this occupation, you lose 3 perk points. Next we have the farmer occupation, where your plants have a 15% damage resistance as well as 20% resistance to your plants spoiling. Your plants will also have a 10% recovery rate, and as a result you lose 3 perk points. Next we have the cook occupation, where your food nourishes you 25% faster, but you lose 9 perk points as a result. Electricians will receive 15% less damage from electric damage, and you can unlock certain weapon mods right from the get-go. You will also lose 6 points from picking this occupation. Next we have the auto mechanic, where vehicle mods created by you will have 10% more damage resistance, as well as unlocking vehicle mods right away. You will lose 6 points for picking this occupation. Moving on to the combat roles, we have the park ranger, where animals will never attack you, as well as being able to find food in the wild easy. You will not gain any points from this occupation. Police officers will receive 20% less damage while running with a melee weapon, and you'll lose 4 perk points, as well as losing 10 HP and gaining a 10% faster running speed. Next we have the army veteran, where weapon stamina is reduced by 25% and you can hold your breath 35 seconds longer. But you will lose 9 perk points and drop your max speed by 15%. Moving on to the medical roles, we have the EMT. After your down but not out timer has exceeded, you can get back up but only have 5 HP. You lose 6 perk points as well as lose 10 HP, but gain 10% in max speed. Next we have the pharmacist, where you gain health 50% faster but lose 6 perk points and get 10 less HP. And the final occupation we have is the doctor. As a doctor, you'll always go into a down but not out state. While you're in this state, your timer is extended by 100%. And as a result, you lose 9 perk points, you lose 15 HP, but you gain a 15% in max running speed. And now let's get to the perks. There are 31 perks in total as of making this video. There are positive and negative perks. Let's get to the positives. The first one is desensitized, where you're immune to suppressive fire, slow metabolism so you don't have to eat as often, low thirst so you don't have to drink as often, athletic where you can run and vault faster, thief which grants you faster crouching speed, thick skin where you're less likely to bleed from an injury, party boy, party girl where you are less likely to get drunk, EMC where you use medical items faster, country born where you can identify poisonous plants and such, and then we have the pistol, rifle, shotgun, and melee proficiencies, where you have better handling and such with that certain item. Handyman, where you craft faster. Scrapper lets you craft items with less resources. 5-star cook, where you can cook some advanced food. Engineer, where you can craft advanced items. Swimmer lets you swim faster. Mechanic lets you repair vehicles faster. Driver lets you drive and handle the vehicles better. And lastly, for the positives, we have the donor, where your blood type is O, and potentially makes it easier for you to heal up. Now moving on to the negative perks. This is where it gets interesting. First one up is paranoid, where you will hear random gunshots in the distance. Clumsy, where you make more noise while crouch walking. Fast metabolism, where your character needs to eat more often. High thirst, where you need to drink more often. Osteoporosis, where you're more likely to break a bone. Obesity, where you walk and run and vault slower. A peanut allergy, where you can't have any nuts, hence why we have an EpiPen in the game. Diabetes, which requires you to take insulin here and there. And lastly, for the negatives, we have lactose intolerant, where you can't have any dairy products without consequences. Now I know I threw a lot of info at you, but it's just so exciting to see the depth in the characters. This also promotes team play in such a great way. You can't survive an apocalypse on your own. You need people that have certain skills to help you, and they need to help them as well. The last thing I'm really excited for, and some people may have a different opinion, but I'm really excited that this game is going to be first person only. I really enjoy the fact that everyone will be experiencing the game the way the devs want us to play it. I've been talking about immersion for this entire video, and this surely helps with that. I mean, even Cyberpunk 2077 is first person only because the dev said it makes the game more immersive. So we have to trust what these guys believe is best for their game. But that wraps up the 20 exciting features coming to the alpha next month. I know it was a very long video, and if you guys have stuck around, then thank you so much for doing so. I really do appreciate it. I will be covering Dead Matter as time goes on, and as soon as the NDA is lifted, I'll be sure to share my gameplay and thoughts. I'm trying to hit 1,000 subs, guys, so if you guys do like the content, consider subscribing. But that's it for me, guys. Thanks again, and stay toasty.